Today we're going to be talking about how you can set up a sacred space to communicate with your loved one in the spirit world. Hi everyone, I'm Diana Palm and I'm a medium and spiritual healer. I've been helping people connect with the spirit world for well over 30 years. And I'm going to help you to set up a sacred space to help you get in tune with your own loved one in the spirit world so that you can more easily communicate directly with them. Now the first thing I like to do is set up a sacred space. And this could be any area of your home. However, I do advise that you're not letting guests and other occupants of the house readily use this space. It should be something that's more significant. It could be a space in your office, a corner of your bedroom, or any extra space in your house that you can designate as a sacred space for yourself. You can set out your altar cloth and any magical tools that you use, and you can use this for prayer, for intention, for journal writing, and it will always be an elevated and sacred space within your home, which will always make it easier for you to establish your connection with the other side. Some items that you might want to include, I mentioned an altar cloth, and this would be one of the items that you may want to add. You could use a silk scarf. You can find a beautiful print of like a Buddha. You can have just your favorite color. If your favorite color is purple, have a gorgeous purple cloth on your altar. This just dresses it and makes it more intentional that this will hold your sacred space and your sacred connection with the spirit world. So having these intentions and having these rituals really attunes your energy and vibration and your environment to be able to establish the link that you need to connect with your loved one. For connecting with a loved one, you should also have a white candle, and you'll be lighting that every time you sit to connect with them. You may also add things like sage, Palo Santo to just generally neutralize the space before using it or clearing it at the end of every session. When you're inviting your loved one to come in to communicate, you'll want to use some high vibrational sense, something that will help lift your vibration, because it takes a lot of energy for the spirit world to come through and communicate. So you want to meet them halfway by trying to raise your own vibration. So this would be also being very mindful about clearing your mental garbage. Take out the trash. Don't bring your worries and concerns into your sacred space. You really want to have a clear intention and an elevated energy when you're trying to establish that connection. You may wear a talisman, you may add crystals that help you cleanse your energy or raise vibrations in the room, or add some crystals that have a more protective quality, especially when you're beginning and you don't yet have proper discernment for the spirit world. We don't want trickster spirits or any random ghosts popping in when you're trying to communicate with your loved ones. I think it's also a nice idea to bring an offering. In the past, I've used sacred tobacco as an offering, a bowl of fruit, or water in a crystal bowl. The water also will help your loved ones to come through and communicate with you. So being in an energy that you're offering something and that you're anticipating a generous connection will really help you establish that link you're looking for. Now, before we go any farther, it's very important that you have boundaries. So when it comes to spiritual boundaries, again, you don't want to let trickster spirits in. You don't want to invite the next door neighbor who just passed. Your intention is to connect specifically with your loved one that you want to communicate with. So we want to be very clear that we're blocking out everybody else, that we're warding and protecting our sacred space, and that we have a focused and clear intention about connecting with our specific loved one on the other side. So in this regard, if you have any belongings from your loved one, you can add a personal item like a photograph of your loved one, or a watch or a ring that they wore every day, or a barrette that they wore in their hair. Anything that has their energy imprint on it will actually help you quite a bit to fine tune and direct that energy into your vibration of who you want to connect with. Because we all leave residual energy on everything we come in contact with. The things that we use a lot will have a lot more of our energy on them. That's why you may actually feel more connected to your loved one when you surround yourself with their belongings. In this case, we just need one small item. And again, if you don't have a personal item from them, you may use a photograph of them. That will help your own subconscious mind integrate energetically with them and be very specific with your intention and your focus that that's who you want to connect with. It's also okay to let the spirit world know what type of contact you feel comfortable with. If you're clairaudient and you can hear spirits, then tell them that you want them to talk to you in a way that you can interpret or hear with your physical ears. If you're clairsentient and you just feel things, you can tell them to allow you to be aware of their presence without being touched, unless you're comfortable being touched. Many times my loved ones have come up and tickled my cheek or touched my shoulder. And if you're okay with physical touch, then let them know that that's okay with you. If you're not, if that frightens you in any way, tell them that you'd rather have them not touch your physical body, but impress emotions into you, such as expanding your heart or just helping you to feel them near you. It's also a nice idea to have a place for them to sit. It just creates a welcoming container for them to fill. So if you think about having like 2 chairs facing one another and expecting that your loved one will come and sit there with you and have a conversation, that actually kind of creates the expected energy and prepares a space for them that they can fill. When you begin to communicate with your loved one, you will want to raise your vibration and frequency and get your focus. In layman's terms, that means say a prayer or do a short meditation to just clear your head and speak to your loved one, letting them know that you're ready for communication. After you have started the process, anything that happens in your environment may be part of the spirit communication process. In other words, if you're sitting in a very quiet room and you suddenly hear knocking, that may be your loved one. If something falls from the bookshelf, or if a light flickers, or if the candle flame suddenly gets really large and then small, these may all be indications that your loved one is letting you know that they're present with you. Now, like I said, it takes a lot of energy for your loved one to be able to bridge the gap, to come into the physical world, to engage with anything physically. So you will have to have a heightened sense of awareness to really tune into your environment, to witness and recognize the signs and symbols that they really are there with you and ready to communicate with you. It's also okay to ask your spirit guides and ancestors on the other side to help. They always want to assist you. So even when your intention is to connect with one specific loved one, you may first want to say some sort of mantra or prayer or opening speech to invite all your loved ones in the spirit world to aid and assist you in making your connection. If you're in an environment where there's animals, you may suddenly have a strange animal show up, or a dog or a cat acting strangely or suddenly start barking. Cats are very receptive to the spirit world, and a lot of times they will stare at your loved one's spirit body. So if you see your cat acting strangely all of a sudden, that could be your indication that your loved one is present. Another thing that can happen is chimes going off, or telephones suddenly ringing, or you're getting messages, or something unusual is happening. This is about you being tuned into your environment and noticing that there has been a sudden change. When this occurs, just give gratitude. It's very normal for your loved one to alert you to their presence in some subtle way, and sometimes not so subtle way. I've had crazy things happen, but it's always very confirming because I know that they're like announcing themselves. I have some loved ones in the spirit world that gracefully saunter in, and their energy is so subtle. But then I have other loved ones in the spirit world that come in with a loud bang and a flash of energy and just fill the room with a high vibration because they exude a lot of energy, and they did in life. So your loved one will find unique ways to let you know that they're there. They won't show up as an opposite energy because they want you to recognize them. So if something in your environment triggers a memory, or you suddenly think that it's a link to your loved one, it most likely is. Now, I highly recommend that you journal during this process, because the more you're open and receptive and you're writing it down, the more they can actually come through as thought forms, and also help remind you that every time you do this, you're getting more and more evidence and a clearer connection. It's anticipatory energy, which means every time that you want to connect with your loved one, when you enter your sacred space, light your candle, set your intention, your prayer, your protection, that you're always building energy in this space, and the spirit world knows that you're doing this, and it makes it easier and easier for them every time to come through. Don't let a bunch of kids run through your sacred space. This should be a space that's just for you, that will hold your sacred spiritual energy and help it build. You really don't want this to be a common room in your house where everybody has access to it. This is your special space, and this is where you establish your bond and your connection with communication from the spirit world. Now, you could also use any type of divining tool, which means dowsing rods, pendulums, some paranormal equipment like EMF detectors, where you can actually be specific, saying blink twice for yes or once for no. You can use devices, you can use spirit boards, Ouija boards. You can just use your pen and paper and automatic write. Perhaps you can start a journal entry by asking your loved one a question. And as you write the question, you may already begin to interpret their answer through you. So this is a form of automatic writing where you just keep pen to paper, and sometimes you just may want to start off by scribbling, making little loops and circles, and then all of a sudden it might start to turn into words. Ask a specific question, and if something comes to you, trust that you're not making it up. If it comes to you when you're in this environment and you've set your intention and you've raised your energy through prayer and meditation and mantras, trust that if something comes through you in this sacred space, this is a spirit communication. And you can always ask for more validation. This might be something like a knock. This could be a bird. This could be a strange sound in your environment. You may notice that the flame on your candle suddenly gets very large and then shrinks again. This could be anything when you have asked for spirit communication or validation that the answer is correct, and you're noticing that the environment is reacting to you in some way. This most likely is your validation from the spirit world. I've used a black mirror for scrying, tea leaves, runes, tarot cards, anything that you would like to include in your sacred space. Or you can just simply sit quietly and be receptive. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is just sit and be quiet. Here's one reason why people find difficulty with this, because they go into a space of wanting to connect with their loved one and they're pushing the energy. Instead, if you ask your loved one a question and you tune into being receptive so you can hear it, perceive it, or pick up on it, this actually puts you in the right energy to receive. So rather than pushing to get your connection or trying to force a connection or just trying too hard, simply ask your loved one a question, remain silent, and listen. And again, as you're doing that, you are entirely in a receptive state. And this is where they really can impress feelings to you, impress thought forms, or even bring up memories. If you've done this and you suddenly start having a flashback or a memory of something, trust that this is your loved one making contact and showing you that they too are remembering this event with you. And they're bringing it to the forefront to prove that it's them. If you'd like to add music to your sacred space, I recommend using something that will help with the vibrations in the room. I love to use Native American drumming because the beat of the drum actually helps to induce a theta brainwave state. Now that is when you are most receptive to the spirit world. So you could use hemi-sync CDs or flute music. You can even use nature sounds. Anything that would be soothing to you to help you relax, that doesn't add too much to your environment, but actually can help you get in the right brainwave state, which means slowing your brainwaves down so that you can be more receptive to the spirit world. Now another tip, you're sitting quietly and you're anticipating receiving an answer. You may find that your body wants to gently sway. And this would be very natural as you're beginning to blend with the energy of spirit. So sometimes it actually helps to move your head from side to side or to let your body sway gently. And this is just loosening up your energy and allowing your energy to flow and blend with spirit. So if this feels natural for you, go ahead and do this. Nobody's watching. This is your sacred space. Let yourself be free, where you can just release the rigid outer shell where you often experience the outside world with. This is your sacred space. This should be a place that feels gentle and inviting and safe for you to be free to be yourself. So just allow yourself to kind of gently sway. Something else happens when you're letting yourself go from side to side, because this helps align your energy by activating the left and right hemispheres of your brain. So go ahead and allow yourself to sway and just relax your shoulders and just go from side to side, whatever feels comfortable for you, but actually tipping your head from shoulder to shoulder. That's going to help activate both hemispheres of your brain, which will help move you out of the very practical left brain and move you more into the receptive right brain, where channeling and mediumship occurs. Let me know how you've set up your sacred space, and if you'd like to go deeper, I have a Master Your Mediumship course that you are going to love. I've literally combined my 30 years of mediumship into a course with 8 specific lessons to help you get your mediumship connection with loved ones on the other side. If you're interested in connecting more with the paranormal, crossing over ghosts, clearing hauntings, my course called Paranormal Rescue Medium is right up your alley. You're going to love it, and it will really help you perfect your ability to clear hauntings and really allow yourself to maintain spiritual protection at all times. It's a very powerful course. The other course that I would recommend for you is called Mediumship Scrying, which is a very specific form of scrying that helps you see spirits with these eyes. So visit my spiritual academy, check out all my mediumship courses so that you can continue to enjoy your connection with your loved ones on the other side.